What is emotion? Emotions are short-lived, which can be caused by the situation that you are in or the people you are with. They arise suddenly and then they fade away just as quickly as they come. Abraham Sperling defines emotions as a state of agitation, distribution of equilibrium, an intense, random, and disorganized response to a stimulus. For the sake of simplicity, researchers and lay people alike often divide the emotions into those that are positive and to those that are negative. Negative and positive emotions must be in moderation if they are to influence and persuade our behavior, health, and personality. John B. Watson claimed that fear, rages, love are the three basic functions around which complex adult emotions were evolved. Sometimes, it is devastating to someone when love becomes an experience of bitterness. A person experiencing resentment will often feel a complex variety of emotions that include anger, disappointment, bitterness, and hard feelings. Although there are facial expressions for each kind of emotion, they are not, however, dependable indicators of emotions. Some people are so happy that tears flow from their eyes, while some people, in spite of internal grief during the burial of loved one, cannot cry. Feelings and emotions are moving powers of human beings. Feelings are the simple, pleasurable, or painful aspects of mental processes or bodily conditions. According to James Lange theory, emotions are caused by perceived objects or situations penetrate the organized systems of the body, then consolidated into reactions as a consequence of the interwoven impact of various external senses. They intensify and psychologically manifest themselves in the individuals. The difference between feelings and emotions is that feelings are experienced consciously, while emotions manifest either consciously or subconsciously. Some people may spend years or even a lifetime not understanding the depths of their emotions. Kinds of emotions. Personal emotions are based on self, such as self-assertion, self-preservation, self-control, self-assurance, self-adequacy, self-sufficiency, and self-esteem. Second, social emotions are the strong feelings people have because they are part of the society they move in. Love for the family, patriotism, competitions, rivalry, pride, love, sympathy, and etc. are some of the examples of social emotions. Any emotions depends on one's appraisal or considerations of another person's thoughts, feelings, and actions. Third, intellectual emotion are based on love for the truth. Fourth, the aesthetic emotions are wholly influenced by the cultural background. Power of emotions. Emotions can propel man into actions. The emotion you feel each day can propel you to take actions and influence the decisions you make about your life, both large and small. Emotions provide inspiration. Most often, man finds himself doing something not through the dictates of his mind, but through the impulse of his emotions. The body system follows the emotions blindly and unconsciously when emotions overpower someone. Emotions provide the color of the environment the individual moves in. His perceptions of the world depends on the kind of emotions which overwhelms him, thus limiting or expanding his world accordingly. Effects of emotions. Emotions are accompanied by granular, muscular, mental, and physical effects on the human organism. For example, When we are feeling worried or sad, our body pH begins to fluctuating. This can incite a physical response such as constipation, stomach ulcers, and sometimes insomnia or high blood pressure. Emotion help prescribe the actions that is the most meaningful at the time. Sometimes we don't realize that our emotions can also affect our decision making. Strong emotions can block the learning process. It interferes your ability to think and reasons, reducing your ability to make actions. Without emotions, we can make decisions out of the situation. However, pleasant emotions like love, happiness, joy, and satisfaction may result to the fulfillment of the person. Emotion can make life colorful. If we start listening to our bodies, we can start taking action to improve our mental well-being.
Hello, Isa here. For today's video, I will be talking about the control of emotion and mental health and mental hygiene. Control of emotion. Self-control is different between a man and a world creation. Man is capable of controlling emotions since he or she is endowed with the intellect and the will. Self-control is the ability to regulate oneself in every situation. It is the ability to do an act with a balanced mind. A person having this quality thinks well before he or she speaks. When he speaks, he uses his reasoning so as not to say mean words. Unlike animals, man must be able to overcome any impulse. This can be done by self-control. There are certain practices that need to be followed in order to have a poise and self-control. First, refrain from gambling and vices. Second, avoid unwholesome habits such as drinking alcoholic drinks, smoking, overeating, etc. Third, control your temper and language. Fourth, take criticism calmly and naturally. Fifth, cultivate the habit of denying yourself some of the luxurious life. Sixth, show a form of vices and endeavor to help in checking and limiting them. So, mental health. Everyone wants a sound, healthy mind as he wants a healthy body. Mental health includes our emotion, psychological, and social well-being. It helps determine how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress related to others and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. To be able to do this, we must have an objective assessment of our social being. In one's lifespan, various forms of problems such as adolescence problem, choice of career, marital problem, financial problem, and many more. These multi-phase problems need thorough deliberation of a mental and emotional mature. Human adjustment as an aspect of mental health continues an unending process. A. In employment. There are several situations in an employment setting where mental health should be present. Immediate adjustment can promote good mental health. In the same way, new employees should take every opportunity to learn the intricacies of new job and the responsibilities they assumed. They should show a positive attitude toward works and those people with whom they will have a working relationship. B. In social life. One of the greatest blessings we have is the love and friendship of other people. This form of happiness makes our life truly worth living. There are times when we need compassion, tenderness, and love from other human beings to stimulate our dormant compassion passion of love. Give others a chance to see your excellence, qualities. Instill in their mind all your positive qualities because people easily from lasting impression. The sounds of your voice, your thoughts, store will be recorded in the mind of those you meet. It is important to steal the spotlight. Mentally healthy individuals are always positive with outlook, and his optimism will be plus factor of their social adjustment. See, what is the balanced life? Balance means moderate in everything. It means one does not spend all of his time in work, all of his time in playing games or anything. But balance means one does not have to wrap this entire life around one person or thing exclusively. One can never depend on single source of support, still expect or survive. One should never lose balance of attempting to please everyone or feel devastated when he or she criticizes. Remember, the first sign of success is shown when one begins to be criticized. Criticism usually a sign that one is alive and doing things. Fruit-bearing trees are usually stood. When a person is achieving above far, he is noticed and becomes the source of envy for others. D. What is satisfying work? Satisfying work has a very strong and positive influence of mental hygiene. Satisfying works fulfills one's innermost needs and creative interest. It is source of one's own happiness. It is not just a sound mind in sound body, but it is a state that is immediately related to the whole human existence. It is the condition of the whole personality characterized by one's ability to face reality in both defeat and victory, and function effectively in dynamic society.
I will discuss adjustment and frustrations. Adjustment is a process and not an end in itself. It is a happy and comfortable relationship between one's self and one's environment. There is no prescribed situation to match a certain personality. There's always the processing of situation and environment and the resiliency and adaptability of the individual until he reaches the stage of satisfaction and ultimately happiness. As the wisdom of a philosopher says, God gave me the courage to change the things which I can change, the serenity to accept the things which I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference. An individual is likely to become well adjusted by changing his environment to meet his individuality and also by submitting to the reasonable demands of the situations in which he finds himself. On the other hand, he can avoid situations and people he feels uneasy with. He can create settings where he progress and stand out. Neither, though conformity and rebellion represent adjustment or maladjustment, one can be harmonized with a situation and events without sacrificing his own values and principles. How to live with oneself. The whole drama of life springs out of our basic I want. Dr. Murray D. Bars states this in one of his speeches delivered more than 5,000 times. Here they are. First, I want to live. How long? Forever. A person will normally preserve himself. It is the most basic instinct and tendency. If it is a question of saving one out of two, between himself and the friend, between himself and the brother, himself and the mother, still it is himself who will win. Self-preservation is an innate tendency which nobody can question. Second, I want a feeling of importance. The ego of the person is flattered when it is being fed with importance, recognition, and the feeling of being useful and needed. This is the most sensitive part of the individual. One will always go a long way if his ego is bolstered and elevated. Third, I want a mate. An old maid who claims that she is truly happy is telling a lie. A woman is born to be a man and a man to a woman. Persons of opposite sex always attracted each other. It is the most fulfilling to have a mate when both minds met and when the man stands as the father, husband, playmate, and co-worker at the appropriate time. Both husband and wife should therefore be properly attuned in growth, professionally, physically, spiritually, socially, and morally. Each one should support the other. Last, I want a little variety or change. Life is boring without variety or change. A monotonous life kills motivations, initiative, interest, goals, and ambition. It is very difficult to drag the years through monotonous events, challenges, problems, innovations, and rich, provoking situation can provide variety and color in one's life. The ups and downs of life can make it more interesting, and one can continue hoping for a better tomorrow. Next, I will discuss the major signs of mental health. First, maintaining self-confidence is trusting oneself to cope with the difficulties which cross one's way. Second, making adjustment is making oneself able to fit in almost all situations confronting him. Tension is always present at every beginning stage. Later, when one becomes conditioned to the new situation, tensions gradually disappear and acceptance creep in until one begins to feel comfortable in the situation. Controlling emotions. Emotional blocks have a detrimental effect on the individual. A person is kept from using his logical thinking when he enveloped with emotions. He is likely to be caught off guard and, with all probability, he cannot respond appropriately since he is shrouded with emotions. Last, positive self-confidence. A high regard for oneself should be encouraged and maintained. One can maintain a certain degree of respectability if he first respects himself. In view of this positive self-concept, one will be less tempted to do wrong, lest his value be trampled.